Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Jeff. This is hayfrosells. Full-time reseller for 8 years, part-time 4 years before that. But really, I've been selling all my life, going back to elementary school where I would sell fireballs and bubblegum per piece. I'd buy them bulk and I would sell them in piece. And I'm sure everybody out there who's a reseller probably has all kinds of awesome stories about what they resold when they were 10 or 11 years old, trying to make that money. All right, we're going to do something a little bit different today. At least for the part of the video, I'm going to show you what sold, but I'm going to show it to you kind of laid out. I'm going to talk about how I ship things, and I'm going to show how I ship certain things. Let me know what you think about this. I started it, and then I kind of just committed to trying to do it for everything that I sold over for the weekend. If you're not really, feeling it and you don't want to watch that, you can probably skip to about minute, depending on how long this intro is, 10, 11 minutes past that. But I do have like some good, reseller nuggets inside the shipping portion of it. But yeah, I just wanted to try something different. And I know that, some of us are very experienced resellers. We know how to package things. I like to consider packing one of my specialties. I kind of find enjoyment in it for the most part, except when I have like 10 or 12 things that I need to, I like to stay on top of it. I don't like to let things pile up. But I like the challenge. Some people, they dread having to like find a certain box or, just figure out how to package things. And I kind of like that aspect of it. I just throw on some music and kind of just get into it. So yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna talk a little promoted listings. Can't really do a show without talking about one of our favorite subjects here. Sarcasm. I'm going to recommend something to eBay. Because, you never know when they're watching. And I have an idea that I think would benefit them and us. I'm going to talk about a theory that started brewing into my head. A theory about lost income and looking for some commonalities. It's probably nothing. But something jumped out at me the other day. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about something I did on YouTube that I wasn't supposed to do. Ooh, got a notification from YouTube saying, no, don't do that. And yeah, and we'll wrap it up. It's late Sunday. It's like midnight now, but my sleep schedule is all messed up because Maria's in Australia. For those of you who are new here, my wife is in Australia. She's with our middle daughter, ushering in, well, it's been ushered in, our first grandchild 3.5 weeks ago. So my sleep schedule. I would not recommend living in North America, dating anybody in Australia long distance, because that time zone difference is horrible. Okay, so we're going to jump into the shipping portion of it. I've already had the videos already recorded, so I'm just gonna like, do some magic editing. Can you guys believe that I used to do all my videos in one take? Like one take. How funny is that? Like if anybody who wants to watch some really funny videos, I've never taken down any of my videos unless there was something wrong with it. I've left all my amateur, like I'm not really a professional now, but man, I can't imagine doing everything in one take. Okay, this is a local sale. The guy's on his way here any minute now. These are When by Chaz Dean. They're like some styling creams and cleansing conditioner. And when I was speaking with the guy, apparently they don't make these anymore. And it's getting harder and harder to find them for his wife. So, I mean, that's good information to know. But to be honest with you, I'm just in general getting out of health and beauty or any kind of
products that have expiration dates. I also feel this is a category where you can easily get a Vero. And the way eBay is, I just would rather not sell them. I mean, you know, this is the reality that we live in as resellers, that the types of items that we're allowed to sell just diminishes every single year. It's kind of sad in my opinion, but anyhow, 30 bucks local pickup. Glad to get these out. Local sale number 2 on Sunday, $30 for this. I had this listed on eBay. eBay couldn't find me a buyer for it, so I guess they miss out on these commissions. I wanted to show you guys this. Should I keep this? I mean, I am learning how to play guitar, and I feel like there's dual meaning here. I can be the world's greatest picker and the world's greatest guitar picker as well. But to be honest with you, I don't really keep anything, so it's gonna go up for sale, but I wanted to share this with you guys. I thought it was pretty applicable for the channel. All right, I had this Indonesian Bali demon mask. I'm not really sure about the origin of it, but I had it listed on eBay, had it listed locally. Somebody messaged me and they said, hey, I'm interested in this. I'm doing a project for my final in college. Can I borrow it for 5 days? Yeah, I'm like, no, I don't really lend out my product. I said, but you can make me an offer. And they made me an offer of $90, which is about $30 less than what I had it listed on eBay. I am more than happy to sell this locally, not have to package up and worry about that. It's not that fragile, but yeah, I'm just, you know, I'm more than happy to take this down off of eBay. So this is going out today as well. All right, continuing, this sold Enchanted Tiki Room, Disney Kingdoms. This is a variant, and I believe there are like some connecting covers of this as well. I picked this up at the last comic convention I went to, and this sold for $120. And basically, I'm gonna ship it. I'll show you, but I'm gonna basically wrap bubble wrap around it and then pad it. And I like to get a box that has kind of like that much room. You know, these things, they can crack pretty easy. It's a big box for, you know, I could probably fit it in a smaller one, but then you really run the risk of it getting damaged. History of Secret Societies. This is continuing from that epic esoteric book haul. This sold for $40, including shipping. I will wrap paper around it and then for padding, and then just put that in a poly mailer. Buckaroo Bonsai, it's a 5-issue series. I'm gonna put this bag into another bag and then I'm gonna basically tape it in the middle, put another thing around that, and then that will go in a poly mailer. And then this will just go into, oh, the reason I put a bag inside a bag is because I've had these bags rip before, especially with multiple books inside it. So that way you put another bag inside another bag. And that way if it does rip, it still has multiple points of contact, and at least the tape won't get on the comics that are inside the bag. And then this will just go inside one bag, and then I'll tape that down. And that will go in between these 2 sheets of cardboard that I've already cut out. I almost forgot. This was $19 plus shipping, and this one was $19 plus shipping, and these were bought at the same place. All right, guys, here is the finished product. So underneath this is 1 layer of bubble wrap, and then I taped this. And then I put paper on the sides to keep it from shifting, filled in paper on the edges and the corners, and then I'll go ahead and put 1 more layer of that just to keep it, just to secure it. And then I will get insurance on that. I don't always get insurance on my items, but and then I also wanted to say, I don't love this kind of bubble wrap, because I feel like it can easily like deflate, and then you really don't have any protection. I only use this kind of stuff for items like let's say I have a hat that I'm putting inside a box and I want to kind of just keep it from shifting around. I'll put it because it's not that big of a deal if it goes bad. And also a pro tip is I get a lot of my packaging from this one this one bookstore. And you know, that's a tip. If you're looking for packaging materials, I get bubble wrap and lots of paper, more paper than I even actually need. Go to a bookstore and ask them, what do they do with their packaging materials that they are receiving packages in. Form a relationship if that's how you want to keep your costs down. Again, I'm talking about playing defense. I don't hardly pay for any of my shipping supplies. Okay, so here's that book, that Secret Society's book. I just kind of used some paper and just, have fun with it and pack it up. I'm not the kind of person that's going to put a book inside a poly mailer and hope that it doesn't get dinged or damaged or dented. Don't give your buyers any reason to be upset when they open up your packages. Here's that comic set. So those bags are inside a bag. And if it's just 1 or 2 comics, I'll normally just do like 1, 2, 3, 4. But when they're a little bit heavier, I will give it some extra security so it doesn't shift around. Tape that up like that. Put that in a poly mailer. And then the last thing I wanted to show you, this was that other book, that one small book. I can't even remember what it was called. But I will go ahead, I'm going to try to do this with one hand. So I put some padding around the book. You can see it there. You can really see it like that, kind of just to keep it from shifting around. And then you tape that, and then that's going to go right inside there. So I got more to do, but I'm just thinking right now, if you guys like this kind of content, I really don't know. I just thought that it would be something different to show people how I package things. Let me know if you guys like this kind of content. If you find it boring or redundant, you've seen things like this before and it doesn't really matter. It actually takes me some time to kind of stage my materials and do everything like this. And I've got some more to show you, as I said. So I'm just going to dedicate myself to this process for this video and we'll see how it goes. All right, so here are a couple heavy metal magazines. And this is from February 22. I think this one is from 20 or 2021. These two combined sold for $90, and they're going to Spain. So what I will do is I will fold those over like that, put that in a poly bag, and then tape it. Much like I did that one book, I'll put it in here, wedge it between, I'm going to use 2 this time, like that. And I'll probably even put, like I said, some cushioning or padding on the edges to keep it from shifting around. And then just package that up and put that in another poly bag. This is I have a bunch of these. I bought a bunch of these from a thrift store one time. I've sold them for as high as $60. This one sold for, I think, $30 plus shipping, and it's just going to go in a poly bag. Plush are just super easy to package. I mean, this is like a gag gift from Russ. Yeah, I've got a bunch of those. Arrow, this sold for $23. There's like a lot of maybe 10 or 11 of them in here. That's just going to go between, much like I did that other set of comics. Nothing really to talk about there. And then I sold this brand new poster, Evolution Classification of Life. I actually got this for free. I have had this for over 5 years in my store. I accepted an offer for $15 just to get it out of there. Okay, I'm still getting used to this format. Obviously, it was obvious to me that this is going to go into a canister. I had to use a bigger one than I would really want to, only because this was already sealed and I can't really roll it up any tighter. But pretty easy, self-explanatory. All posters are going to go into a canister or a box like this, just for future reference.
Okay, so these three, I'm basically just deleting them from my unsolds. Because whenever I get an interest of you know, something local, I'll go ahead and just immediately put it in the unsold. So because I really want to do everything I can to close that sale. Now this is out of that same lot that I got those other two books that I sold earlier, the same occult esoteric lot book. I had this listed local. He offered me $50 and I accepted. And then we just couldn't really meet up for a couple days. And then he was like, you know, he's like, I think I'm going to pass. So I was kind of like, all right, well, if I lowered the price on it, would that interest you? And so I offered him, ironically enough, I offered him $35, which is exactly the price that it was back in the day. Now it does have some issues. He did have the soft cover, and at that point he was kind of thinking maybe he wanted to not buy it. But the $35 price intrigued him enough that he ended up coming. And sometimes you just got to be flexible with your pricing, right? Like, I'm in this for about $1. I really wanted to have a strong local day of sales. I did 4 sales at $185, and that's more than I've sold on eBay today. Which that's kind of sad, to be honest with you, even with the reset. Now the day's not over and I just completed the reset a couple hours ago, so let's see how that plays out. But you know, sometimes when you get offers or you have a buyer on the line, you do want to do everything that you can to close that sale. And it was really funny because I had 2 buyers show up at my place at the exact same time. So I went to the first guy and I had the Indonesian mask and this book in my hand. I'm like, which one is it that you're here for? And he was like, he was here for the book. I just thought that was pretty funny. I've never had that happen.
All right, so here's what the finished product of the magazines look like. You can see there's plenty of room to make the trip. Got cushioning on the sides. That's just going to go in a poly mailer. This Shonen Jump, this sold for $9 including shipping. It's just going to go inside this bag, and then it's going to go between these 2 pieces of cardboard and an envelope. And then this Eno's fruit stand bottle, picked it up for $1. Funny story, there's a show called The Liquidator. His name's Jeff, actually, too. And he works out of Vancouver. And he has his own show, and I don't know if it's on AMC or... It's in the same style as, like, Storage Wars and stuff like that. But except he buys, you know, large lots and then liquidates them. And he has his own store here, and he has a warehouse. He was having a sale, and Maria and I, we got there late. This was maybe 2 months ago. Oh, this is just going to go inside this bubble wrap. It's going to go inside this bottle in this box. But, yeah, we got there, and we got there really late, so we probably missed some good stuff. I still picked up a few things there, but this is one of the things I picked up there. I don't even know why I bought it. But I accepted an offer, and, you know, I turned 1 into 14, so not bad. All right, here's the end product of that little glass. And then the Arrow comics, I ended up finding a comic mailer that I had, and I used that instead. And then one other thing is this, which I showed as a what sold last week. The guy ended up not paying. He only had 3 feedback. Not surprised, but it's no big deal. It is what it is. Okay, these are the last 2 sales that I think I'm going to put in this video. These 2 SRAM hats, I can't remember what that stands for. I can't even remember where I picked these up, but it hasn't been that long. These have maybe been listed a month. That's the one drawback about doing the eBay reset, is that you can't really go in and see when you listed things. But oh well, increased sales is better than knowing when things are listed. They're just going to go in this box, one on top of the other. Just put a little bit of bubble wrap in there to keep them from bouncing around. And then this is the 5th and final local sale of the day. It's been a really good day. I outsold eBay today locally. This sold for $55. I showed you guys when I picked this creepy
gothic, dystopian, Donnie Darko bunny Halloween mask up. I love it. Hate to see it go, but I couldn't turn down a $55 offer. Actually, no, that's what had it listed at. They've already PayPal'd me the money. They're probably going to pick it up tomorrow. So sorry to see this thing go, but you know, this is what we do. We sell things. We don't hold things. We sell them. Okay, this is actually the last sale. This actually sold yesterday. I know I've talked about this. You guys have seen this poster before, but I wanted to show you what I meant by I have a whole bunch of them, and they're still, like, there's a couple that are loose, but they're all still basically attached. This is from 1987. These have been lying flat. They're in pretty much pristine shape. I sell them anywhere from $20 to $25. And I'm okay with that rate, given how many I have. I bought this off of a salesman who sold beer from the 80s into the 90s. So he got all this super cool beer promotional stuff, and I just basically bought everything he had in a bulk buy, and I've done really well with it. So yeah, just wanted to show this. So, and things like this I love to buy because, you know, you don't have to really do anything. You multi-quantity orders, or sometimes I don't actually let, you know, buyers know that I have multiples of these. I'll just list it as one. When it sells, click sell similar, relist, boom, done. Okay, so let me know what you think of that. Like, and in the future, if you guys liked it, I'm not going to be showing you like how I ship something that I've already showed you how I ship. Like, I'm not going to be redundant like that. People can always go back and watch the videos if they want to learn how I ship certain things. But yeah, so enough of that. So the other day I was thinking, you know, most people who watch me also watch James and Josh Galt. James at My Boring Reseller Life. And then I recently was introduced to Primo and Spam, their channel. And how we kind of met was they found my recent channel video about the eBay reset, and they've been doing it. They've been living it. And I saw some commonality between James used to do between $800 and $1,200 a day, sometimes more. And then I believe he's made the comment like that, you know, $400 to $500 is kind of like the new normal for him, which is like 60% down. Josh, he has mentioned in the past that he used to do $1,000 days, and now he does $400 or $500, and that's like 50 to 60% done. And Primo said the same thing, that they used to do X amount and now their income is down 60%. And I was just thinking about that number, and then I was thinking to myself, okay, well, what do they have in common? And I'm like, well, I can't really think it. And then I thought, wait a second. James is a listing machine. Josh is a listing machine. And then Primo, if you're out there, if you're watching this, I left a question on your channel. I wanted to know if what you generally listed per day, kind of like back when things were really humming for you. Was it normal for you to list 20 a day, 50 a day, 100 a day? Because it just got me thinking that there was one commonality: serious listers. Now, for me, like, I'm not, like, I have two stores that add up to one big store, but I'm not a massive lister. Like, I'm like the turtle lister. I kind of just stay at it. But before I got onto YouTube, I used to think that if I listed 10 more than what I sold every day, and so if I sold 10, I would list 20 that day. I used to think that was good. But man, you all out there just make me feel lazy. I don't even really have a listing goal each day. I just kind of, like I said, I just kind of list until I feel like I don't want to list anymore, and then do other things. Now, my listing now has been considerably lighter because, you know, now we've got to focus so much on the marketing and the, you know, the discovery of what's going on and trying to figure out what eBay wants to get sales. And now we've got this, you know, reset thing that we got to do. You know, I've got 2 stores, so I've got to do it every 3rd day. And, you know, the way it falls normally is one day is I'm doing Maria's, and the next day I'm doing mine, and then 3 or 4 days later. So that takes time. It takes dedicated, focused time to not, because you don't want to make a mistake, right? And I'm going to show, I think now's a good time. I'm going to go ahead and flip this around, and I'm going to show, oh, I know what else I wanted to say. I am going to show like a quick little tutorial of how to do it for those who, a couple people have asked. I'm going to take 5 or 10 listings and just show you how to go about that. But another viewer brought up a really good point that people need to pay attention to. I apologize for not figuring out who said that before I started this video. But we all have listing limits, that like the amount of items that were allotted to relist in the span of a month, and it's different for everybody depending on the store size that you have, or if you have a store. And if you go over that, you'll end up paying an insertion fee, which we don't want to do that. But there's also another limit, your dollar amount. Now, I actually need to check mine when I do my store reset. I think I'm going to do mine tomorrow. So if you can list, you know, $100,000 in a month, if you've got $20,000 in inventory, if I'm understanding it right, if you do a reset 5 times, you'll be at your dollar amount listing limit. So keep that in mind, and you can just go to you just go to your seller hub, you go to overview, and then you go to where it shows monthly limits, and then you'll be able to see how much you're allotted. And maybe the best thing to do is just look at it. I've never looked at it before and after I've done the reset, but just keep an eye on that, because I don't want anybody to go over that as well. So I need to finish my train of thought here. I'm horrible at this. I always start thoughts and then I don't finish them. So if anybody is out there who is a listing machine, you know, you list, let's just say you list 50 more per day, or you used to, and you got used to X amount of money, and now you've had your income cut by half, 50 to 60%. I'm looking for commonalities. That's all. Maybe it's nothing, maybe it's something. And Primo, let me know what you were listing when things were going really good, and then when things kind of took a turn for the worse. All right, so we are going to do a demonstration of how to end and sell similar, you know, a few items, and then you can extrapolate that and do your entire store. And if you're super new here and you don't know what I'm talking about, I will link the video that Jack and I explained what this is and why it's beneficial. And you can see in the comment section that a lot of people have been experiencing a boost in sales, and any boost we can get right now, I think we will all take. All right, so what I like to do is I like to have my unsold listings here. You refresh it and you make sure it's at 0. Don't want anything in here. And then you go to your active listings, and I have these 3 selected. You end those listings. Then you go over to your unsold, you refresh, and then you select. The other thing that you should do actually before this even starts is make a note of how many items total you have. So add 3 to this number because we just deleted it. So 4434, you should write that down somewhere so you don't forget it. Write it down and always keep that in mind, and I'll explain why. So 4434 is the total number of starting listings that we have during the reset. We've deleted, we ended 3 of them. They are in your unsolds. Then you select them, and you go to sell similar. And then if you want to make any changes, you can bulk edit. If you just want to relist them or sell similar, you just go ahead and click submit. Then you go back here and then you click refresh and it'll say 4434. And we'll do it one more time. But also you have to go back right away and you need to delete these. This is so important. So let's do it again. So you've got we'll select all of these except for those. So we're selecting 23 because this is a 25 column minus 2. You end. I'm always super paranoid. Lots of times I do this way too many times. I just always want to make sure there's nothing in the unsold listings. So you're ending 23. Remember your starting point is 4434. Then you go here, 23. And then you just sell similar. Select, submit. Then you go back, you refresh, you make sure it says 4434, which it does, and then you go back and then you delete these. And really the only difference is you're doing it in a larger quantity. So if you've got, you know, a large store, you do 200 at a time. You would select them all, sort by start date. There are a few that I missed, but you can see I'm not going to worry about resetting every last one of them. At some point, it's diminishing return doing all that clicking. So yeah, so let me know if that helps. I also wanted to share my stats with you guys because I can talk about the reset and whether it's good or bad. But I mean, unless you see statistics, this is my store. And so I started this reset on the 10th, and you can see that total sales are up 94% versus the prior time. For 42 buyers, up 50%. Average sale, this is going to be a little skewed because I had one really good sale, but I mean, the fact that take away that one big sale, but you know, that's just one sale, and if we didn't have a large increase in the percentage of total buyers, then I could, you know, one could argue that one sale skewed it, but buyers are up significantly as well. And on my wife's store, I started it on the 13th, so it's only been 10 days, whereas my store has been 13 days. You can see sales are up 92% versus the prior period. 41 buyers, up 156%. So even got a couple repeat buyers. And so yeah, we'll keep an eye on this. You know, it'll be interesting to see what it's like after a month. or 3 weeks, or after 6 weeks. Yeah. Okay, this is the segment where I am speaking directly to eBay. eBay. You know how you show the same exact items that I'm selling underneath my listing? Don't do that. Here's why. Number one, as a seller, it feels like you're undermining me. And you're not actually, you don't have my back. Number two, the better move here is, this is one of those do this instead segments. Don't do this instead. Show items, you got this similarity engine going. I know that you're quite capable of this, because this is, the whole thing that you're talking about, and trying to provide the customer in search with things that you think that they want. Do that. Do that under the listings, under my listings. Recommend items that you think somebody who is looking at this button. I mean, this is not really a good example, because I doubt there's many of these, if any of these, out there right now. But let's just assume this was a high sell-through rate item, and it was easily, duplicatable. There we go. There was lots of them out there. Instead of showing this same button, show things that the person who buying this button would want to buy other things. That's the smarter move. That's the move where I win because the buyer actually continues and checks out and buys my item, and then they buy other items. You're getting, it's win for the sellers, it's win for you. It's decreasing the amount of potential non-paying customers, which you clearly care about, because you kind of opted everybody into this process where buyers have to enter in their information, their payment information, and I applaud you for that, but I think there was other ways to go around doing that as well. But yeah, that's my straight talk to eBay potential idea on how to have win-win for us and you. Okay. I'm done talking to eBay right now. This is me talking to the viewers. In fact, eBay, you can go away now. You don't need to listen. This next part is not for you. Well, I mean, it kind of is. But I was viewing one of my items, and then I don't know if it was, I think underneath the items, it shows items that they might want, that you might also want to buy, but lots of times it's the same item. And then down below there is a section of because you viewed, and then it will show promoted listings. It'll show. So basically what I noticed is, and this is why I think there needs to be more transparency with promoted listings. I think there needs to be more clarification. And this is why I think this is the beef that I have, is because underneath there, you're showing me items that I have viewed in my own store. You're showing me my same items. You're promoting them to me. That is not targeted. I'm not going to buy my own items, but you're counting that as an impression. At least the way I'm understanding how promoted listings works. So maybe I am talking to you, eBay. Don't do that either, because that's breeding mistrust with the promoted listings program that the impressions that we're getting, or that you're saying you're getting for us. You're promoting and saying join, promoted listings, and you will get a 25% boost in sales or impressions or whatever the marketing is. But how targeted and how relevant are these promoted listings at? It's a problem. It's a problem. I don't know how to get around it. I just felt like I wrote that down because I wanted to talk about it. And fellow viewers out there, what are your thoughts on that? Anybody have any thoughts on that? Okay, now to the YouTube violation that I didn't realize was a YouTube violation. So a viewer asked, what is the link to my store? I'm guessing she maybe wanted to check out, what I was selling, or I don't know what her intent was, to be honest with you. And I was like, I don't advertise my stores. I used to have them in the bio when I first started. I took them out for two main reasons. Number one, I didn't start this channel to sell items to viewers. That was never my intent. In fact, I actually feel a little uncomfortable with the concept of selling items to viewers. It's not that I don't appreciate the support. I do, Mike, looking at you. He's the one guy that bought something from my store, and it was cool. It was cool to say, almost surreal to say a viewer sale. That was just, it was bizarre. It's like I said it, but it felt very weird to say. But I never started this channel with the intent of monetizing it through viewer purchases. I've been very open about wanting to get monetized and diversify. That was one of my diversifications outside eBay. Like when I first started watching videos on YouTube about reselling and learning that you can generate some income there, and watching some of the people that were doing it, I was like, well, I mean, I know every bit as much about reselling or more than these people. I might not be as entertaining. I might not be as comedic. But, people resonate with all different kinds of people. And, it's true when, they say you will find your people, like, like attracts like, and, there's an audience for everyone, I guess is what I'm saying. And like, I'm not the kind of guy that I could never see myself doing any kind of Patreon or anything like that either. Like, I don't think I have that much value to add that I could possibly charge for. That's not something that is ever in my plans. The goal, or the reason I started my channel, was just to share my insights and my experiences, my opinions. But it's hard for me because, like, I'm an introvert, right? And so, I stumble over my thoughts sometimes. I go off on tangents, but I do the best that I can. And, another thing is that reselling is, it can be extremely lonely. And I found that for me, it's empowering to have a voice, right? It's empowering to be able to share things that happen to me, to see if other people are experiencing those same things. And then hopefully through the collective powers, we can make some sort of change. That's kind of my thoughts on it. But yeah, but it's hard. It's hard when you feel alone when you're reselling, and you can feel like I don't know about you guys, but I mean, there have been some serious down periods over the last 6 months where, you know, you really start questioning where you can either even do reselling. You know, sometimes I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel like a failure. And what I'm learning through these highs and lows that we're experiencing is that it's not me. It's not my store. It's not my items. In fact, you know, months ago, there were quite a few, not quite a few, but there were comments, like people would say comments, it's like, oh, it's what you're selling is the problem. But I'm not hearing that right now. Like, I'm not hearing. When you look at the sales that I've been having, that a lot of us have been having since the reset, it's the same items, right? It's the same exact items that I'm selling now as I was then. The exact same. Leather keychains, buttons, comics, pop culture stuff, collectibles. And it is a tough market, right? But so yeah, YouTube messaged me and they're like, you know, you can't do that. And then I had to like fill out a form and say why I was doing it. I was doing it because she asked. I was sharing the links because she wanted to know, but I guess you can't do that. So yeah, so that was just a long-winded way to explain, you know, a few things about why my store isn't readily apparent for people to just go to. I really don't see any point, really. I mean, maybe I'll change my mind and I'll include my links when I feel like enough people know what they are, and it just seems pointless to not put it in there. You know, then there's also that whole theory of like, if people go there just to look and then they're not buying, that's, you know, eBay views that as a negative because they think that your stuff is just not selling. I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing or not. But anyhow, I've rambled on enough. I appreciate all of your guys' support in this channel. I love hearing the success stories. I get a little discouraged when I hear that people have done the reset and they haven't experienced it. The reset that I did today for Maria's store, it didn't really do a whole lot. So maybe let's see if there's some follow through. I don't, you know, maybe some resets, you know, I did one on my channel, on my store in the middle of the night, and that ended up being a dud, but then the next one was pretty good. So, you know, just stay at it, keep listing, feed that YouTube algo, guys, and we will talk to you soon. I'm working on a cool idea for my next video. I'm pretty excited about it. I don't really want to say anything about it. It has nothing to do with strategies of on how to get sales. It's something completely different. But yeah, let me know what you think of this video. Subscribe if you haven't, feed that YouTube algo, and we will talk to you soon.